Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To my brothers and sisters in Islam, and salam to everyone else. This is Ali. This is going to be a response to Jasper AB in his video, The Argument from Meaninglessness for Atheism. Now, AB, your argument is based on a criticism from Friedrich Nietzsche regarding the meaninglessness of metaphysical language, especially in relation to the concept of God or gods. You argue that the problem is, and I quote, that these definitions, categorizations, qualities, and elaborations are all being spoken about as the negations of things that we are aware of. That is, God or the supernatural are not given positive, realistic, distinct qualities. All of the characteristics that are espoused by the religious, by the believer, by the defender of these ideas, are out of the reach of our understanding. You then go on to ask, and I quote, how could one legitimately claim to have a steadfast belief in a thing that has no qualities they can conceptualize? And finally, you claim that one would either be dishonest or delving into a realm of wild incoherence to make a positive assertion regarding belief in any such thing. Now, before I go on, I will agree with you on one point you made in your video, and that is that one cannot believe in something that we have no capacity to operate on referentially. However, I will have to disagree with you and Nietzsche regarding your attacks on metaphysical terminology. If anything, it seems that you and other skeptics that hold to this sort of argument have yet to think about it with any serious scrutiny. Allow me to elaborate. Negative qualities, as we call them, are not complete negations of things we are aware of. Rather, they are maximal negations of limitations. What I mean by this, for instance, is that a quality such as aspatial means without any space, or not within the confines of any space. Now, this is simply a maximal quality of a particular instance of being outside the confines of a space. For instance, a bird that is no longer caged. We would say that the bird is no longer confined by the space of the cage, or that the bird has been freed from the cage. Now, you say that the maximal quality has no meaning, based on the two reasons you outlined. The first being that we cannot conceptualize it, and I'm going to assume you mean this in the nominalist sense, meaning that we cannot have a particular mental image of it. And two, you say that there is nothing from which we can reference to conceptualize such a thing. However, I have just shown from my previous example that neither of your criticisms holds any water. For starters, simply because we cannot form a mental image of a thing does not necessitate that we do not understand it. For instance, can you understand a concept such as a million-sided shape? Of course you can understand what a million-sided shape is. You understand it on the basis that you understand the quantity of a million and the side of a shape. You may not have a complete mental image of this object, but by reference of other objects that you can fully conceptualize, it becomes meaningful to a degree. There are other such concepts that we cannot fully conceptualize, such as the past. Such a concept can only be thought of through reference to things in the present, such as bones, ancient writings, etc. So, going back to my cage bird example and how it shows the meaningfulness of aspatiality. Since I can conceptualize the lack of spatial limitation of a bird from its cage, I understand a particular sort of aspatiality. So not only do we have a reference, but as I explained earlier, there is no necessity for me to have to fully conceptualize complete aspatiality to understand what it means to some degree. And I suggest not arguing that one must have a complete conceptualization of something in order to understand it, since then that would undermine most of the knowledge that we seem to have. For instance, I'm pretty certain you understand what all matter means, even though you cannot conceptualize all the matter in the universe. I'm also pretty certain that you, to some degree, understand other concepts as well, such as love, causation, equality, humanity, etc., without fully conceptualizing what they are. And if you can understand all the concepts that I have just mentioned, then you should have no problem understanding such concepts as all-powerful, all-knowledgeable, and all-good, which are just three of God's negative attributes. So, in conclusion, it stands to reason that until some genuinely valid and sound propositions are outlined for your position, the argument from meaninglessness is discounted as logical and presents a poor defense for atheism. And this is all that needs to be done. Thank you.